Yeah, you're right. They have parental guidance on movies for a reason. And if I can imagine, because we're older, we're too old for that. We can imagine from a young age just being inundated and poured, that stuff just poured over you, into you, everywhere you turn. It's violence and drugs and sex, like it's just nothing. And that's unfortunate. Again, we keep talking about these pastors and how they fail us, and they're not leading people. They will preach, on Sundays this great message, but then they have Bible study on Wednesday, and they have choir rehearsal on Thursday. But then on voting Tuesday, they go in the booth and support a party that's going to continue these policies that make this lifestyle just every day for poor black people living in democratic rural cities. And you know, it's so interesting. The pastors and these community organizers, like here in Chicago, our election for mayor is in February. So they've managed to pay off a bunch of people that used to protest in front of City Hall about the conditions. But, it's almost time to get reelected. So we'll pay off a bunch of people. Suddenly all the protesters are gone. And they keep them fat and happy until next time something comes up and the police officer shoots someone or whatever. And if we just I can't imagine being a young person that's born and raised in Chicago like I was, but I didn't pay attention to politics. But nowadays they keep saying you got to stay woke, you got to be woke. And if you turn to liberal radio, black urban radio here in Chicago, it's just hopelessness. Oh, you'll never get ahead. Oh, the Republicans or white racists don't care about you. But then you look at yourself and you say, well, gosh, I'm in Chicago. It's been run by Democrats since the 30s, so we should be doing well. So as a young person, you're thinking, well, what party should I go to? Well, we got these politicians of Democrats that are selling me out continuously, but then if somebody like Kanye even makes a statement that sounds conservative, he's attacked. These young people have nowhere to go to make a change and start, making a difference by voting differently for school choices. And, a lot of these kids, we don't break that cycle of poverty there. We got to educate these kids, and, Democrats don't believe in school choice. So some of these kids feel like, well, shoot, I can't read, but I can sell drugs, and then, their lifestyle just leads to violence.
Yeah, it's definitely right. I'm talking with this girl, Yolanda Robinson. She's a community advocate. And, she said after the shooting that, 22 people were shot and at Arden Night, she went to the schools. And she said, Daryl, I went to the schools, one of the schools, and kids were like wondering what was happening, but they were still fighting. They were using the foulest language. And it was an elementary school. They used the foulest language. And, and a lot of these young kids, they couldn't barely read. So, the idea is like, and it's sad because we're graduating kids from the 12th grade with a 4th, 5th grade reading level and math level. But they know what's on television. They know about the violent video games. They know about the music. They can rap every lyric that they hear on the radio or watch on television. But they see as violence. It's nothing wrong with being violent. There's nothing wrong with cursing your best friend out, cursing your mom out, cursing your teachers out. Using the craziest language. There's nothing wrong with that. But something, I always talk about something has to give. And go ahead.
Yeah, I just keep thinking, we talk about this music, and you said, they're cursing out their moms, and let's just talk about, we always hear black people, they'll say, oh, black women are queens, and we should be honored, but then you turn to the music, where they're disrespecting women, they're calling them everything but their name, and it's just misusing them, and then when people our age, when I say, well, you like Jay-Z's music, and I say, well, doesn't he denigrate women, he's talking about trap women, or he's talking about women that are groupies. And I'm thinking, no, that's just not appropriate. You don't respect anything, I guess, but the gun, the money, and the power that you will from selling drugs, I guess. But, they just don't have disrespect for authority, and nothing seems to, they don't share anything.
Yeah. And talking about disrespecting authority, when I was coming up, we were taught to never disrespect the police officers, even if they're wrong.
Right.
Just say yes, sir, no, sir, and just keep on driving or walk away, and that was it. And now you're seeing, especially on the Facebooks and some of these YouTube videos, they cursing out police officers, they're fighting, they're doing the craziest things, and they're fighting the police, and then so when the police put their hands on them or shoot them, or something happens violently, they get upset. And that's one of the things my uncles and they would say, Daryl, never disrespect the cop, even though if the cop is wrong. Just say yes sir, no sir, then drive off or walk away, get your ticket, and handle it in court. And
exactly. Then complain about it later. File a formal complaint after you survive that incident. But you can't. These police officers, they want to go home to their family, and their jobs are hard enough. They don't need somebody giving them a hard time or just erratic behavior. They don't know what to think. Because you think about how many times, Daryl, these guys see somebody that ran a red light or just has a tail light out, and they pull them over not knowing that this is the guy that's going to pull out a gun. And we hear that all the time, police officers being killed just from a routine traffic stop. Because we know no day that they go to work and strap on that uniform and put on the gun and the badge is routine. Any day, some crazy person can decide just to shoot them just because the police officers also put them in a position where they got to make a split-second decision.
Yeah, and it's sad because, I have friends who are police officers. I went to high school with friends, college friends who are cops. And, and I'm from the city of Trenton, and I know a lot of the police officers. They're naturally good people. They tell me all the time, say, Daryl, I come to do my job. I don't want to disrespect anyone. I don't want to be cursed out. I don't be violent. Just take a ticket. You want to give you a ticket. We want to, if you got you run a red light, or something may happen, we're there just to deal with the situation. We don't want to go, we don't want to beat up any citizens. We don't want to use violence, but we just want peace and calm. So I understand because I know these police officers, and they say, the people that just want to argue, this is just taking your handle in court. And because what's happening, I am afraid because of what social media is putting out, people and on YouTube and the craziest things, they're afraid. They're definitely afraid of life. But I worry about what are we going to be dealing with in the next 10 to 15 or 20 years. What type of society are we going to have?
Right. It's so different from when we were kids and we had officer friendly would come into the classroom and give us the coloring book, and we knew we would see a police officer, we would be encouraged to wave at him. And one of my friends was riding around her grandson and saw a police car, and he just freaked out. He said, "Oh, that's the bad guy. Oh no." In his mind, the police officer was the bad guy, and they had to pull him over and explain to him that the police officer was a good guy. But he had been around his mother's family, who just unfortunately has poured into a little 3-year-old that he should be afraid of a police officer. If you can't run to a police officer, then who do you run to? Because the gangbangers aren't going to save you if something happens. And it's just this mind frame and how they've been trained now that, there's some bad cops, but like you said, overall, these cops, anybody willing to take on that job, I totally respect them. They're not making a ton of money, and they're taking a big risk because, we hear some gun gangs or violence, sound of violence, we run in another direction, and they run towards the alley. They run to the what's happening, and I'm just thinking those are people like our people in our military. They're just wired differently than me, and I totally respect them for doing what they're doing. And again, just like you were taught, respect the police officers. Yes sir, no sir. Keep your hands where they tell you to, and then everybody you write the ticket and you go home. But if you're sitting there screaming, "Oh, I know my rights," and acting crazy, well then, that's how we have a lot of these issues.
Yeah. So, I really like to, they're planning some different things here in the city of Trenton, but one of the things I'm going to talk about to them is what is the issue, and how do we deal with this problem? Because it's a national problem. And I tell people this, they talk about we need to take away all the guns. Well, listen, I talk on the show, my grandmother had a gun, Mama Gracie. She was a Christian.
Thank you.
She loved Mama Gracie down in St. Mary's, Georgia. She loved Jesus. She would do anything for you. If you was hungry, she would feed you. But if you came into the house in the middle of the night, she had a shotgun to protect herself. And
she'll put you on your back. And she's not going to call the police officer. She'll call them after she shoots you. But exactly, you know what, Daryl, what happened? Because a lot of blacks came from the South. I'm in Chicago where nobody carried guns. But Southern blacks, like my stepfather, they came from Mississippi, whatever, so they didn't care what the laws were in Chicago. They carried a gun. They were like, I'm confused. They were comfortable around, they were responsible. They taught their kids how to be responsible. And what are these people, these surrendered Negroes that just say, "Oh, I don't need a gun, I'm going to wait for the police officers to come and save me or rescue me. I don't care what the response time is. There's no better, faster response time than you pulling a gun out, a responsible gun owner pulling out a gun that they're trained to use. And that's what we got to talk about too. Modest Ray, who's been touring, he's out of Philly, young hip-hop artist, now a Second Amendment activist, talked about how he would travel the United States doing his music. He'd get back to Detroit or Chicago, and people that he used to connect with, he'd find out they were in jail and not for selling drugs or robbing the stores, just because they were carrying a gun illegally because they weren't aware of what the gun laws were in their city. So now his passion is to educate people on how to carry legally, but a lot of our law-abiding people have been brainwashed to think that they're not worthy and that the government's going to save them, and you don't deserve to carry a gun. They don't understand that's part of our Second Amendment. That's our right to carry a gun.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you're definitely right. Down in Philadelphia, about 2 or 3 months ago, older lady, she was a senior citizen. I think she was in her late 60s, early 70s. Someone broke into her house, and she ran upstairs and she got her son's gun. And she shot at the guy and hit the guy, and the guy went out the window. And he went to the hospital and he called the cops. He said a woman had a gun to shoot. Now, I mean, that's some of the crazy things. He called because he broke into her house. And that's when the incidence of situation where I'm saying was, listen, to have something to protect you in your house. When someone out there is trying to hurt your family, steal your property, take you out. You need some protection. And it's something like to the point it's a natural thing to want to protect your family, your property, yourself.
Exactly. In the old days, in the Western days, it was your responsibility. You have a frontier, you have to be able to protect. You couldn't call a police officer. That's your responsibility to protect your family. And suddenly, some point, I don't know how it happened, we turned this over to the government, and they're so busy doing other things than what they should be doing, and their response time isn't fast enough, certainly not in cities like Chicago. So, and it's so interesting, Daryl, they want to always take guns from the good guys whenever a bad guy does something with the guns. We have to surrender more of our rights.
Yeah, and to me, it just doesn't make sense, and one of the things, about guns, they always talk about Martin Luther King was nonviolent. But Martin Luther King applied to get a gun license in Alabama. He was denied. Martin Luther King was protected by the, different organizations. I can't think of the name of the group, the name of the group, but they protected Martin Luther King, and they had guns to protect themselves. The Deacons of the Fence were their name. They protected Martin Luther King with guns.
Right. Mm-hmm. And Democrats love to talk about the origin of things, but sometimes when the origin goes back to their party, they leave it out. But they always try to paint the NRA as being this racist, horrible organization, but all these mass shootings are never done by NRA members. But you think about how the NRA, like the Republican Party, formed and had part of their platform was to protect blacks and give us the right to protect ourselves. Newly freed slaves, the Democrats didn't want us to be armed. They had just tried to keep us enslaved, and all of a sudden we're free. The last thing they wanted were a bunch of law-abiding former slaves to be able to protect themselves, and so that's what it just blows me away that they surrendered willingly their constitutional right to protect themselves. And they almost think like the government is doing us a favor by allowing us to use the gun. That's not how our founding fathers were brilliant in that way, that they knew that you needed the right to protect yourself.
Yeah, and you're definitely right. When the NRA, I had a discussion with a lady at the Juneteenth celebration, and she said, I talked about the NRA, and she said, are they believe in Nazism. They believe in the Klan and NRA. I said, no, they don't believe that. I mean, they were, they thought they were Nazis, and they went out. They hate black people and they want to kill black people. And I asked her that, and I said, well, who told you that? Well, I was listening to CNN. Oh, you was listening to MSNBC and MSNBC, and because they were told that from the media, the left media, that individuals they were. They were Nazi, the NRA was Nazis, they didn't like black people. I said, there were black people in the NRA. And she was like amazed, but she didn't know that. And I said,
I don't know your back.
What I was telling her is that you shouldn't worry about people in the NRA because people in the NRA are out, they understand how to use a gun. They've been trained how to use a gun. And it's not the NRA that's shooting in Philadelphia. It's not the NRA that's killing people in Camden and Trenton and Chicago. It's
and
people
Detroit and Flint and all these
people
where, exactly. And it's also interesting. I think I was born in a Democratic